Hi guys, it's Terry from the PGSC here, and I'm bringing to you episode 2 of Rising Dragon. Sorry it's been a while. I could make excuses, I've just been pretty lazy. Hopefully we shall be getting a bit more into the swing of things and maybe do this kind of thing with a bit more decks, but I think we'll change the format up a bit. Instead of doing full matches, it's just going to go through some games because it's probably a bit better with Drag Link. Sometimes just you go full combo and or they go full combo. It's not as interesting. And then we'll go through the current version of the deck that I'm working with at the end. So we'll start off with this match, this game, sorry, against Holla Ender. Let's see what he's going for. I, so I get to go first. We'll just quickly check the hand. I mean, I opened Safer, Knock Division. That's pretty much, it is pretty much full combo. I mean, we've opened Failings, which is meh, but it's fine. And then we seem to be playing against a sort of like I always say Grand Magi, but I didn't actually remember we've seen it this game, so I think it's just sort of Golden Caster, Danger, sort of OTK kind of strategy. So we'll just play it forward. I'm pretty sure I just go full combo and he has no interruption, so we'll just speed through this bit. There we go. So we end with pretty much the full board we want. Buster Lock, Spheres, Herald, and Savage. So we'll see what we do. So he goes for the Golden Castle. I decide to negate that with Savage just because I don't want to get any resource. I could have negated its activation, but I didn't want to risk him having a second one because then I might have to burn the Herald and it becomes a bit more awkward. Plus, seeing the Golden Castle makes me think there's going to be like danger kind of things. I think Herald could be possibly kind of useful just for its first effect. But then he draws off the Desires, the Bigfoot, and a Lava Golem. And maybe I should have negated that, but I have a sort of tendency not to negate the draw cards. I'd rather just negate things that actually threaten my board. So we lava golems, tributing the seal and the herald, but we get two bonuses from that. So we get the Cerebrus off the herald, and then we will get the safer. Drops the Eater of Millions. Go for a bit. He's gonna go for the Bigfoot. I believe I miss. Goes for the so he drops that, draws one, and gets Gizmek Engrave, which is quite nice. Banishes the Savage. Attacks over the carrier, which lets us trigger off Brotar, getting us an Octo. Getting rid of Safer, and summoning a Ding to then send the Boot Sector. I mean, from what you can see, he's broken our board. And for most Dragon Link decks, I feel like you might struggle to get back into it because you typically burn through quite a lot of resources. Most people only play like the one boot and things, but hopefully you'll see as we go along why I feel my build is a bit more resilient in that case. Take one with the Lava Golem. So we use Hibernation to get back the Delindrus, which is pretty decent. We then use the Banish the Black Metal to summon out the Red MD. Then make Striker. Striker 1 knocked to 2. So again, when I play the second boot, just again, because it's a nice recovery card and that gives us more options, and I would imagine he wasn't expecting us to have the second. We then go into the Boral Sword. We draw off Abs Router, which is pretty nice. We get Tracer. We then special Abs. Don't know I revealed it, it's just an inherent effect. We then special summon the Magna Rocket, which is pretty good. And we get a Tracer for our troubles. We use sword targeting Magna Rocket so we can send the Dingirsi so we don't have to worry about the protection effect. And then we're able to clear the board with the Levianeer while grabbing back off Safer. And at least our opponent seems interested in our deck list because we asked for it, so that's pretty cool. We clear the board, um, and then we swing in with the Red MD first, followed by the Lava Golem. We then swing in with the Boral Sword, knowing that he's going to have to use the Gizmek to protect himself. And then we'll just attack in for game. There we go. So that was the first one. just to show that what happens if your board gets broken and why having like things like the hibernation, the second boot, just having Dilindris in itself is just nice to help you rebuild after your board getting broken. So we'll then move on to the next sort of games. So this one is against Tavi B. So we'll see what goes into this. I'm pretty sure I lose both the games I'm going to show, but it's important to show, I think, your losses, what misplays I could have done, what I've done well, what I've definitely could have done better in this instance. So we'll just get through this. He actually goes first. So we'll just quickly look at the hands. Got opened Ash, Cursed Elden, Numeron Network, Hakero, and Golden Lord, which, I mean, you can't really ask for much better than this. You've got access to both of your engines, which is quite nice. Black Metal, Recharger, Launch, Silver, and Dark Ruler. So, I mean, drawing the boot sector is a bit meh, but we have two rockets for it. We have the Black Metal, which is combo, and we have a Dark Ruler to stop something. So we will press play, go next forward. So he goes for the standard play, gets three of the Numeron gates, overlays them into Zexal, gets Eldland, gets Conquistador, discards a Caro, sends Eldland. So he gets White Destiny and Sanguine, and he has Conquistador set. I mean, so he's got a pretty decent set of. I mean, he can probably turn off our turn. He has one definite set of interruptions with the Sanguine slash White Destiny and Conquistador and an Ash. So we'll see how this goes. So we draw the Imperm as well, which is pretty nice. So it's really weird. So it's pretty cool because like now we have definitely two ways to um, stop the Zexal, whether he plays uh, into the Gamma or around it. So I mean we're pretty lucky there. Let's just see what goes. Choose not to. We choose to Dark Ruler. I mean, I probably should have in-permed in case I think I was going to kill him, but I looked at looking at his board, I wasn't 100% sure. My hand wasn't like the strongest. So we'll see what happens. He summons out the Conquistador. No, sorry, Conquistador, the Golden Lord off of Sanguine. Um, go for Striker. He ashes. He's Black Metal. You see, this is weird as well. I don't know why I didn't add anything. Oh, this might have been one of the games where I. Oh, I only used Black Metal. That's why. Sorry, that's why we didn't get anything. So he summons the Conquistador, pops it. But luckily we have boot and two rockets. And as we all know by now, two dragons is pretty much the full combo. And he doesn't have any more interruption. So I'll just sort of fast forward through this again. Okay, so since we didn't get access, we chose to go for the Legionnaire to clear things over the abs or just getting the tracer directly. We've ended with a bit less than the like standard board. We still have this. We still have the seal, and we still have the herald. And I decided to go. I didn't think the extra deck locking would be pretty useful. And I think this, since this is the game too as well, probably would have sided it out. So we went for the lance here, just going that if we can stop him from just banishing two of his like either the elixirs, we can like get a better control of the game. But this is sort of where I kind of misplay. So he chooses to Lord in graveyards to get it back to hand, which is fine, and then attempts to like use this effect, but because Herald's out, he can't, pay cost technically by sending Lord, which is pretty good. Um, then he thinks switches to Lord to attack, goes into battle phase. Okay, and here he attacks into the Herald, and realistically, I'm trying for some reason I chose to keep it where like I'm going, well, Herald's negate, it's fine. But in reality, what I probably should have done, like I think I used the yeah I used the spheres to bounce the Golden Lord. Where in reality, I either should have just let this die or bounced like the Lancia to my hand. Because what happens now is I use Seal, I get the Tracer out, just to get access to it. But then he can activate the Neuron Echo, which because he has no monsters, and I can't negate that with Herald. So that was a bit of a misplay on my part. Because now it allows him to get into the bane of my existence for this a game. He summons the Megaclops, and we don't really have an out to it unless we get to the Imperm with a Dark Ruler. So he activates Megaclops, targeting Zexal and Herald. I use Tracer to pop it because I'd rather him not, get the thing that stops my turn. And we get the Ceravis, which comes up because he discards, targeting our Red MD. Um, but we can protect with Ceravis. So he goes for Sanguine, Conquistador, and another Sanguine. So he has his engine live again, and this is where it sort of goes kind of downhill because I just have no out to Mega Clocks, and I have to keep worrying. I'm on a clock where I have to worry about him getting the Zexal back. So he activates Sanguine, activates the Conquistador to pop the Red MD. We go for Brotor, getting Nocto. Go for Striker, summon Nocto, equip the Safer, targeting Nocto. So we're using Carrier just to get into Grave so we can get back the Levianeer. And we also get Recharger, doing the sort of Striker Recharger play. X forward, getting back the Red MD. We link into his sword, just trying to get some damage in. And we draw into a Guard Dragon, which is pretty nice. But again, we're not in a good position. We just can't out the Megaclops. Go for Savage. Go for Levy. Banish Levy, getting back the Tracer. And then we summon Dill. And again, for some reason, I don't know why I go for Dill here. It's like I'm not doing anything with it, and it can't currently like beat over anything. But so that was a bit of a waste of resources on our part. So we get some damage in with Sword, and then for some reason, again, I decide to attack into it because I think for some stupid reason that I wouldn't be able to use Tracer because my board's full, so I needed to get the space. So again, that's definitely a misplay. And then unfortunately, you see he draws the Droplet. So what we were trying to do is hopefully we had kept Tracer out so we can continue to pop anything he targets with Megaclops. He chooses to kill the Savage first, which is fair, just to get rid of the negation. So he targets our sword. We attempt to use Tracer to pop it, but then he droplets us, and that's sort of definitely where this game is just pretty much lost. Because now he has Zexal and the Megaclops. He can just continue to bring it back, even if I kill it. He brings back Lord and sets a Hekaro. Like we draw a Pancratops, and we can't activate anything. I tried to go into attack, but just sees what's the point. I was trying to kill this, but he just give him more ways to bring it back using Megaclops. Summons another Lord. And then he makes the BLS link, making the situation a whole lot worse for us. So he kills Tracer, banishes our boot sector, and kills our Red MD, leaving us nothing with Safer. And then he takes, oh not Safer, Levy, and he takes Levy so we can bring back the Zexal and attach it as material. And at this point, we draw the Dark Ruler, but he has Zexal, so it's a bit too late. I mean, try, we summon the Pank, just hoping we can do something, but the writing's on the wall. Like, he has Megaclops. He just has everything. So now we move into the game three. Um, that game was interesting. Like, we managed to do pretty well, but then just, I think, the not bouncing something else and just allowing him to keep a monster on board what really lost us the game, which allowed him to get the because it allowed him to get some Megaclops. Um, so we're going to go into game three, and I show you this one just again to sort of go like the essence of me misplaying because it's important to show what I should have done in situations as well. It's good for me. It's hopefully good for you if you want to play this deck. So just quickly again, like he has only one interruption, but it's pretty high impact being Gamma. The rest of his hand's okay, but like this is the real issue. And we've opened all right. We've opened the boot again, which you don't really want to, but I play two, so sometimes it's just going to happen. But we've opened an extender and quick launch, two rockets, and the red rose, so we can probably do this without committing our normal summon if we didn't want to. So summon that, activate striker, get the second boot, normal summon Magna, and we go for the Romulus, and then of course he's going to gamma that. And the biggest misplay that I've done clearly here is Boots. I should have used Boots' second effect instead of Boots' first effect because I could have gotten two guys back and gone off with the on the Needle Fighter route. But instead, we just choose to pop the um, Boot to go for Savage because it's like we're getting in the gate and hopefully we will. It doesn't really matter. We can play through, but definitely we could have ended on more if we just remember the second effect of Boot. So we'll go to the next play, but it's pretty much the writings on the wall. He has an imperm if he needs to, but he just sends Lord, Numeron Network, targets it, getting it, and then he's going to go for the sort of Numeron no TK. I'll just quickly go through it. He just smacks in. Yep, yep. And we lose. Yep. So that game, it was just nice to show that you can sort of play through certain things, but also that you have to be careful about your sequencing and what you choose to like disrupt because again, I felt that game two would definitely would have been winnable if I just kept allowed him to have a monster on board. We'll move on to our next replay. This one's against King 182, so we'll just get through it. Play. So we're going first. We'll pause it again. This is against Striker. We're going first, and our hand isn't the best. We've opened the Buster uh, Destruction Sword, which you don't really want to see. Synchron's okay because it's nice to have a rocket, but ideally you want something else. We have an Imperm, which is okay. Hibernation, which you'd probably rather search out, like either off of your seal on their turn or maybe through the Guard Dragon combo, Poet and a quick launch. It's workable because our opponent is playing Striker. He's got, I mean, two disruptions first for when he starts his turn, and like a Terraform which has access to mine and Desire. So it's not a bad hand, but we clearly have he has no disruption, so we have full combo. Right. So sorry, sped through. But so you see we've ended on full combo. Well, bar the Buster Lock, so we just attached an abs to seal so we can get like a double bonus off that. So we'll move on to his turn. He drew a Mystic Mine, which is pretty nice for him. So he goes for Afterburners, targeting the Savage. Sorry, not the Savage, the Seal, which we negate because we just feel it's a useful bounce. We then plays the Mystic Mine, which I believe we're gonna probably negate with Herald, and they get the Cerevis. Then Terraformers gets another Mystic Mine, so at this point we choose to use our own Seal to bounce our Union Carrier, and he says thinking, just don't know why, and we just get the abs, so we want to have one monster on board. He then decides to go for Rose, and this Impermanence is going to come in pretty clutch because he will attack in, send the multi-roll. Kagari, he's going to get the multi-roll back. We choose to negate it because so he can't use multi-roll to send this to make the mine live. Then goes for kind of targeting our Savage. I just choose to do that because I want to be able to attack with the next turn. Then steals. He goes for Shizuku and gets a Hornet Drones. So he's managed. So technically, through his plays, he's been managed to clear our board completely. But we played around the mine. He doesn't have like a ray and anything, so we have pretty decent, and we have pretty decent setup for next turn as we have access to Dill. We have Hibernation, which you'll see comes in pretty clutch in this scenario. So we'll see what we draw into. So we draw into the Nocto, which is pretty nice. So, and here's where Hibernation really shines. So we get Hibernation to bring out the LP, And because we can put it anywhere, and he's playing striker, we have two zones that link monsters point to. So it's pretty good. We drop Nocto. We get out of Safer. We send the Synchron to get Black Metal, I believe. Get the striker. Getting Red MD and a second boot, just for measure. We then summon the D, bring back a Pisty. We then link into the uh, sword, draw into a Cosmic. Pisty get back Hibernation, which is one of my favorite places to do just because it gets the nice loop going where you can always use Hibernation to bring back a Link monster. Like, for example, if you Nibiru'd us here or something, next turn we can just banish this to bring back the sword. You can bring back the Pisty to do the play. You can bring back the LP to do the play again. It's really becoming handy in certain matchups. Uh, so we get Recharger. We use Safer, but we put back our Savage so we can just get the negation. Okay, we'll summon the tree charger, going for that, and we just win that game. Move on to our final replay, which is against Chimchar Gray. So we'll see what's going on here. We go first. Pause. So this game, I think, again, he's only opened one interruption, which is the impermanence. And this game, I think, is more just to show like have what you might need to do to play around certain things and just doing different sort of plays going into like the third turn. So he only has the impermanence, so we'll just sort of, but we pretty much are, we're going to full combo through this. One hand trap isn't really going to be enough. He imperms, but we have the phalanx, so it doesn't matter, and we'll just sort of sit through the combo. Okay, so we've ended on full combo, and we'll just see what he does. So he goes for the extravagance. As I said, I don't like negating the sort of draw cards. Use Cyclone on his own back row to then summon using the Escape Chainlink 1 and Abomination Chainlink 2. Just allows that to happen. He then activates Abomination's effect, discarding his dead extravagance to non-targeting destroy, which we use Herald on. We get the Reservist. He activates Sarama, trying to target escape, setting escape, popping it. Then he pops Sarama with Aruha, which then allows him to get Rikea out. He attacks into Seal. I choose to bounce my carrier because I just don't want it to give him more things he can crash into. But we still keep the lock, and we get out the Brotar. Brotar discards the Dark Ruler to get the safe Legionnaire we didn't have access to. Kills that. And he ends this way. And again, like, it's not a really imposing sort of board or anything. It's just that we have to be careful because currently we could only realistically negate one of their effects, especially some from deck when they're destroyed. So we'll just see what I do here. We get the black metal. We go for striker. Get boot. Striker recharger play. Getting back Red MD. Red MD to summon Tracer. We use Hibernation's effect to summon Dilindrus. We go for the sword, and then we use the Levy, but banish Tree Light so we can get Herald, and this way we guarantee ourselves the game because we can negate both things now. So we attack in. He chooses to try to destroy his Aruha, and using Sword's effect. We negate that with Savage, negate Aruha with Herald, and we just swing in for game. Yeah, so that is pretty much it for the replays. Some of them aren't the most exciting, but it's just not, I just thought it'd be nice to show like some different plays that we thought were interesting. And then now we'll just go for the last bit, which will just be showing you the current deck that we're working with. So this is the current deck that I've been sort of playing on DB. Um, there's not really much I think that's changed from the last one. I can't remember if I was playing the Dark Rulers main, but those are there. We have you see, so the Dark Rulers are just there because for most things that aren't Dragon Link or Infernoble, if they do a full combo, it doesn't really matter what they end on as long as I can still get access to my extra deck or things. So because with I can just, drop the Dark Ruler, clear the board out, and then set up my own, and they'll struggle to deal with that. The Eagle Boosters I just like because you always have like the two sort of choke points being your Hulk and your uh, Romulus. And Rom is well, it's more likely that you'll have no monster in your main monster when you do Rom than Hulk. Sometimes you may go for Hulk first, or they might come up with niche plays where you can like you're going for Boral Sword, you can and like you're going for the kill and quick launch. They might try to Nibiru you. You can protect your Boral Sword from that and still carry on. Everything else is, I think, I've pretty much explained before. Maybe bar the Guard Dragon Cataclysm that I'm trying mained, because this was a slot that was cosmic, but I thought, I mean, it's still pretty useful in the first game because it can still out the things that Cosmic can, like Mystic Mine and just random stray back row. But it's also if I draw it and you can go full combo, you just have another like disruption off of either by tributing maybe the Savage if you've used it, the Seal if they've like even if they've Dark Ruled, you can still tribute that off to do that, or you can just tribute the dragon you summon off of Seal. So it's been working out okay for me. Um, uh, uh, it's not like I've not seen enough to probably say whether it's like definitely going to stay in the deck, but it's been okay. And then I think through the side, we're still playing the sort of Shatos and Repidocus, but we dropped the Abomination just because it was sort of like it's not needed because you've already locked them out, and it was just having to side out extra things, which was occasionally really awkward because some games I'd be sitting there going, I need this, I really need this, I really need the spheres, or I really need the sword, and just having to only take out one of the cards rather than both has been nice. We now play two Lancias just because it's a lot better of a card. We know we can use the Union Carrier thing to equip it to it, but it's still just nice to have a second. We've been playing Droll because it's just been easier to hopefully stop people's turns, and we've added Nibiru just because it's a high impact hand trap. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry again for being so late. We'll try to get it out a bit more regularly. I'm getting a little burnt out with playing Dragon Link, but like there's still some pretty good games that we can probably go through. So then again, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Shh, not a zombie channel.